You're leveling completely wrong in EldenRing Nightreign, and here's why. If you're struggling to beat the boss at the end of Night 3, it's most likely because you're underleveled. So I'm going to give you a quick leveling guide that will show you what locations you should be hitting at certain points of the game. Starting off at levels 1 through 4, as soon as you land there will be a camp of easy to defeat enemies nearby. Clear this camp out, run to a grace, and get your first level really fast. After that, you have some choices to make. Either head to a church to increase your flasks, or head to a great church where you can run in, ignore most of the enemies, and just focus on the boss. Or you can go to some ruins where you can once again run past the majority of the enemies and focus on the boss. The good thing about the ruins is that there will be a cellar below that has 3 chests that you can open, which can give you some nice starter weapons and items. You can do these in any order you want as long as your pathing makes sense here. You want to be able to go to one location, finish it, and immediately know where you're going next. Around levels 5 to 9, you can head to these forts around the map. The boss will usually be at the very top, and again, you can skip the majority of the enemies here. You can also hit some of these tunnel entrances. A quick tip if you don't know is that when you enter the tunnel and open your map, you can press down on your D-pad and it will show you the exact layout of what the tunnel looks like. This is super useful for beelining straight to where the boss is. Killing this boss will give you the option of getting a smithing stone that can upgrade your weapon from blue to purple, so it's very useful. Everjails can also be a really good place of ruin acquisition. If you happen to find a stone sword key along your way, it's definitely worth taking a detour to the Everjails and beating the boss here, as one of your rewards here can either be 10k or 20k extra ruins on top of your boss kill. If you happen to come across a field boss along your way and you're around level 6, 7, or 8, it's worth trying to kill these. The only field boss I would probably save until you're level 10 or higher are the dragons and the gargoyles, as they are really hard to defeat. Lastly, you could hit the big castle, as these are usually always somewhere in the middle of the map. Again, the boss is at the top here, and if you don't know how to get to the top, I'll show it on screen now. But ideally, you want to run past a lot of these enemies here. Although I do want to point out that these enemies specifically, depending on the variation that you get, which can either be the silver plated ones or the Crucible Knight variation, they can net about 8 to 10k ruins per kill. So it really is just a matter of how fast can you kill these without wasting too much time. Okay, so this should be roughly the end of night 1 or maybe a little bit into night 2 if your run wasn't super efficient. But finally hitting around level 10 is going to be the time where you can go around the map and try to hit anything that you might have missed. This would be a good time to maybe run to a far away church to get your extra flask or defeat one of the more difficult field bosses. Alright, once you hit night 3 and you're about to fight the final boss, ideally you should be anywhere from level 10 to level 15. I'd say if you're lower than that, maybe you weren't as efficient as you needed to be, or maybe it's just bad RNG. But once you understand the flow of knowing what locations to hit and when to hit them, or prioritizing trash mobs versus running straight to the bosses, you should be hitting level 10 and above really consistently throughout your runs.